details released on Trump Dossier, the DNC was connected with the Russians. Donald Trump is certainly relieved after the latest shocks that stunned the DNC Democrats and are now in panic. And it seems that even the crooked liberal media is not able to ignore the fact that Democrats are the ones who colluded with Russian officials to influence the election in 2016. Not Trump, but them, the people who fiercely attacked Trump for having connections, quote, with Russian officials. They even tried to sell the dirty lie that Russians even hacked the election. Now, Washington Post has more information about the scandalous connection. Read the report below. More details have been published in relation to the Washington Post bombshell report on the Trump dossier and how Hillary Clinton funded it. From Zero Hedge. What was previously widely suspected has now been confirmed. In its latest bombshell report that for once doesn't include some nefarious allegations of wrongdoing or incompetence involving President Donald Trump or members of his administration, the Washington Post reported Tuesday that the Democratic National Committee and the Clinton campaign jointly financed the creation of the infamous Trump dossier, which helped inspire the launch of the floundering investigation into whether the Trump campaign colluded with the Russians. Though neither the DNC nor the Clinton campaign worked directly with former British spy Christopher Steele as he compiled the document, how is that a fact? They didn't work with him. They didn't directly work with him. They paid him to make up this garbage. That's what they did. Christopher Steele, as he compiled the document, the fact that Democrats funded the dossier, which includes information primarily gleaned from sources in Russia, ironically suggests the Democrats indirectly leverage Russian sources to try to spread information of dubious veracity about a political opponent to try and sway an election. Sound familiar? Even though the scandalous accusations contained within the dossier weren't made public until after the vote, presumably waiting to see what foot the shoe would end up on, this would have been provided serious grist for the collusion narrative, which we imagine would have been stretched to include the entire Republican establishment as accomplices. While it's impossible to determine exactly how much money was spent on the dossier, the Clinton campaign paid Perkins Coie, the law firm of Clinton super attorney Mark Elias, $5.6 million in legal fees from June 2015 to December 2016, according to campaign finance records, and the DNC paid the firm $3.6 million in legal and compliance consulting since November 2015. Some of that money was presumably used to pay for the dossier. Fusion GPS's work researching Trump began during the Republican presidential primaries when an unidentified GOP donor reportedly hired the firm, that was McCain, to dig into Trump's background. The Republicans who were involved in the early stages of Fusion's efforts have not yet been identified. Fusion GPS did not start off looking at Trump's Russia ties, but quickly realized that those relationships would be a fruitful place to start, Washington Post reported. Steele previously worked in Russia for British intelligence. The dossier, which was primarily compiled in Moscow, is a compilation of reports Steele prepared for Fusion. Allegations contained in the dossier included claims the Russian government collected compromising information about Trump and the Kremlin, who engaged in an active effort to assist his campaign for president. Fusion turned over Steele's report and other research documents to Elias, and it's unclear how much of it he shared with the campaign. The revelation about who funded the dossier comes just days after Trump tweeted that the FBI and DOJ should publicly reveal who hired Fusion GPS, and lo and behold, that information has now been made public. House Intelligence Committee Chairman Devin Nunes has tried to compel Fusion's founders to disclose who paid for the dossier, but all three of them pled the fifth during public testimony last week. Nunes has also tried subpoenaing the firm's bank records. The most salacious accusations contained in the dossier have not been verified and may never be, because it's false. Still, after the election, the FBI agreed to pay Steele to continue gathering intelligence about Trump and Russia, but the Bureau pulled out of the arrangement after Steele was publicly identified in news reports. Officials also decided to withhold information from the dossier in an intelligence community report published in January, alleging that Russian entities had tried to sway the U.S. election on behalf of the Russian government. Of course, we still don't know who leaked the dossier to BuzzFeed. Comey, through McCain and CNN back in January. There you go. John McCain, one of the primary suspects, has repeatedly denied it. Of course he's going to deny it. And Fusion GPS has said in court documents that it didn't share the document with BuzzFeed. However, we do know that in early January, then FBI Director James B. Comey presented a 2-page summary of Steele's dossier to President Barack Obama and President-elect Trump. It therefore strongly suggests that it was the FBI that was instrumental in spreading. McCain gave it to Comey to spread it, the dossier, to the media, most of which was too embarrassed to publish it until BuzzFeed came along and did it for the clicks. Okay, let's see how far leftists can go with their lies and manipulations. They are cornered, and this is just the beginning. If the probes prove Democrats guilty, they will have a lot to deal with later. Jail? Of course. Are Republicans involved? Highly probable. McCain. This makes these cases even more complicated because there is a possibility for both parties to sabotage the process. We will wait and see. Yeah, a lot of people are going down for this. Oh, it's going to be tracked. Oh, yes, Hillary's going to get hers very soon. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And again, thank you so much for watching.